According to a study that was done by the Canadian Mental Health Association in 2011, it has shown that having a job is very important to good health. And that holds true not only for people with disabilities, it also holds true for all of us. People without disabilities, normal people, in quotes, as well as everyone else. I would like you to consider, I thought of thinking about giving you food for thought as you go back into your workplaces, as you go back into your social life, to think about some of these thoughts. And when you're thinking about it, think about the organizations that you're working for or working in. Is disability a public issue or is it a private issue? Are we creating opportunities, meaningful opportunities for people with disabilities? I would also ask that you think about the recruitment process in your organizations and talk to your friends and think about, ask them in their workplaces, are you willing to accommodate? Are you accommodating people with disabilities? What accommodations do you have in place to help them to get into the workforce? And then think about talking about the impact it can have on the businesses. People with disabilities, newcomers with disabilities, once they're in the workforce, they can help to make policies. They can help to say what products are needed and help the business to become more profitable. So that leads into, for us to talk about the barriers that people with disabilities are faced with. How are they perceived? The perception, what are people seeing? So in terms of barriers, it can be either visible, as we all know, or invisible. Visible or invisible, sorry about that. In terms of that, what are we looking at? The perception of society, when they look at someone in a wheelchair having a physical disability, are they hesitant? The recruiter, would that person be hesitant to employ that person? So I would like you to think about that as you move forward in your life. Think in terms of what is happening out there. According to research, they're saying 40% of the people with mental health issues are unemployed, and as we know, that number is increasing. As well as, I'm going to go back to the barriers and in our workforce in terms of what's that? Sorry about that, I need to turn to see. Perception, I know Dominic could talk about that, so I'm going to briefly run through this quickly in terms of how do we perceive people? What are the stigmas associated with a person with disability? Is a person going to be efficient, or is a person going to be unproductive? In terms of the workforce, is your company or your organization inclusive? Does it have people with disabilities? Are they represented in the workforce? In terms of your talent acquisition process, that's your recruitment process. What is it? What type of recruitment process do you have? Does it accommodate people with disability? What type of accommodations are within your process when you're recruiting? I would also like to demystify some of the perceptions. I know, again, you may find some of what we're saying are overlapping. Dominica spoke to some of this. The myths are people with disabilities, high staff turnover, time-consuming in terms of performing, as well as it's going to be costly to accommodate someone with disability. They're inefficient, unreliable. That's not so. Studies have shown that there's a 72% retention rate for people with disabilities. They're loyal, they're dependable. A study that was done by DuPont shows that overall performance between people with disabilities and people without disabilities, there's a minor variance of 5%. 90% perform better, people with disabilities, as compared to someone without a disability, they perform at 95%. In terms of absenteeism rate, it's less for people with disabilities, as well as Safety records are identical. That's what the study found. I would also like to say, in terms of the benefits of hiring someone with a disability, there is the social, economic benefit. I alluded to that earlier in terms of if you have someone employed, they can tell you a little bit more about what the needs are, as well as in terms of, sorry, I have to rush, I have time going. I'm going to quickly browse through this. We talked about job retention, job opportunity. In terms of practices, creating opportunities for people, think about having a flexible work schedule. Think in terms of the work environment. We also, in terms of training staff, educating staff and employers, I would like to leave you quickly with that thought. Diversity is like a tapestry, and we must understand that all threads in a tapestry are equal in value, no matter what the color is. They're equal importance, no matter what the texture is. That's a quote from Maya Angelou. Thank you.